Not that I thought he was going to be a bad manager, not that I think he's a bad manager. It was just more of like I think it was just like the my association with Carlo. I think it was just like my love for Carlo speaking more than like we actually genuinely thought about Xabi Alonso. Yo, you guys, what is up, man? Welcome back to Real United Talk, where we talk about all matters Real Madrid and Man United. This is going to be a real talk episode, and I promise you guys a Xabi Alonso analysis. You know what I feel, what I think about Xabi Alonso joining Real Madrid, and I'm giving you guys that episode today. And obviously, I made an episode the last time talking about how I felt about Carlo Ancelotti leaving. I already expressed how he's my goat, one of my favorite managers of all time, all of that. And my feelings will never change about that. I love Carlo to death, man. But like I said in that video as well, I think that this was the right time for him to leave. Like it was ever a time for him to leave Real Madrid. This is the right time. Obviously, we don't want to see him leave the club like troophless and everything, but like that's such his life, man. Like sometimes not everything goes in your favor. He did win us a Champions League and La Liga title the season before that and everything, and we did still win a trophy at the beginning of the season. Yeah, I'm sad about Carlo leaving, but I have to look forward. I have to look to things that are about to happen. I have to look to the future, and Xabi Alonso is our new manager. And I think when I first heard about this deal, I wasn't as excited. Like I think I was like I don't know. And the reason for that is the thing I always loved about Carlo was his winning gene. Like, just that like win by any means necessary and everything. Like it's just something that he always had. And it's something that like I think the most successful Madrid managers have had, your Mourinho, your Carlo, those type of guys, like, they just have this winning gene, like, we're going to win. We're going to win trophies. I don't care how we do it. I don't care what kind of dirty tactics, what kind of juju we're going to use and win, we will win. So yeah, when I was first thinking about it and all of that, like I was thinking that, oh, does Xabi Alonso have that gene? Like, does he have what it takes? Like, does he have like, can he win by any means necessary? Like, can he win in the most dirty way possible if we have to and all of that? And honestly, at first I was iffy and everything, and I was like, I don't know about all of that. Like, not that I thought he was going to be a bad manager, not that I think he's a bad manager. It was just more of like I think it was just like the my association with Carlo. I think it was just like my love for Carlo speaking more than like we actually genuinely thought about Xabi Alonso. So I think I was more pained that Carlo was leaving, and that's why I had all those thoughts towards like Xabi Alonso joining and everything. But I do think that Xabi Alonso has what it takes to coach Real Madrid. I actually think that he has what we need right now, which is structure. We need a proper structure in the team, and if there was any doubts about like his ability to win and all that, I mean he gave Bayer Leverkusen the first ever Bundesliga title. I mean that doesn't say like he has that winning gene, but it says something about him. Giving them the first ever Bundesliga title, taking it away from Bayern who have won for like 11 years in a row or something like that. Like that's a lot. And then like we just need someone to like right now we just need someone to like knock Barcelona off because Barcelona right now they're looking like a scary team. They're building something scary over there. So we just need someone to like knock Barcelona off, and I think that Xabi Alonso has what it takes. And the reason I'm saying that is the structure that he brings. Again, I'm not saying that Carlo Ancelotti did not have structure, but Carlo is someone that like as much as like he has his thing and everything, like he likes his best players to play. That's the way he likes to play. At the end of the day, you guys just do your thing, and that's honestly the type of football that people like to see. That's the olden day football. Just give the ball to your best players and let them cook up a storm, let them give you a cross, let them carry the game on their head, and that's the football I love to watch. That's the football I love to see and everything. It affected us more this season than it has in the past. Like this, like all other times, like I've seen it work. Like we won the Champions League titles with it and everything. But I think that this season it really affected us. I think obviously there were a lot of things going on in the squad. Our defense was not good enough. Our midfield was getting a lot of injuries here and there. Vinny, Rodrigo, our attackers like different times. At different times, they're on form. There was time that Vinny was on form at the beginning of the season. Then Mbappe was not on form. There was a small time when Rodrigo was on form as well. Then Mbappe was on form. So like it was just like a whole thing. Like there's just multiple reasons why that couldn't work. And the whole like where your best players play and everything kind of affected us. So like we're kind of like banking on individual brilliance this season. Like it affected us against Barca. I think that's the reason why we lost 4 times against Barca this season because Barca, they were honestly just playing around with us. Like they were honestly just playing around with us. And even the Arsenal game as well. I'll say that it affected us in the Arsenal game as well. I think that's why like Arsenal defense looks so good against us. But like Arsenal defense is actually like a good defense. Like I know I hate on Arsenal all the time, but they actually have genuinely good defenders and all of that. And if you noticed in that game, like what we're doing, we're just like crossing shots, and then there's not even a tactic that we had this season because we don't have anybody that can head the ball, right? So like we haven't been crossing a lot this season. We don't cross from our corners except with the guys in the box and all of that. So like it was just weird watching that game and looking at Real Madrid, looking at Vinny and everybody like trying to give crosses into the box, knowing that Mbappe is not heading that ball, knowing that Bellingham has more defensive responsibilities this season, so he's not necessarily going to head that ball. I think that Bellingham is better at getting headers and everything when there's an actual like proper traditional number 9 in the box, kind of like distracting defenders, and then he makes that late run into the box. I think that's why he did a lot better with like Hussein when Hussein was playing 9 and everything, because he has that like distraction and he can be like the second man in the box and all of that. But yeah, I mean the whole individual brilliance thing kind of like affected us a lot this season. I think that there were a lot of games that like were banking on individual brilliance that kind of affected us in some games. It kind of won us some games as well. It has won us games in the past and everything, but like it affected us in some games. You actually see that even some games that we won as well, like it was just like a banger from Valverde or something like that. It's nothing like special. And I'm like I said, that's winning by any means necessary. Like we don't always have to win clean. Like we don't have like look at the Man City game last season, the Champions League one. Like we're defending throughout the game and everything, and I think we scored like 1 goal. So I can't remember the score of that game and all that, but like I remember the game itself. I remember how much I had to defend to win that game. And people will say that like Man City had the better game and all of that, but like I always say that whoever won had the better game, because if you guys don't take your chances, then you're not the better team and all of that. So yeah, it doesn't always have to be clean to get the win. It doesn't always have to be clean to get the job done. It's what Spurs did in the final as well. Ange is someone that always loved like clean football and all of that. I think it affected him this season, given that like Spurs don't necessarily have the quality for that. And then like he still tried to always play that clean football and all of that. But the Europa League final, he just went out all physical. He just wanted to win the physical battle and ended up winning the game as a whole and all of that. So yeah, sometimes you just have to win the game anyway necessary. So yeah, the individual thing kind of affected us a lot this season, especially given that our players are not in their best form. Especially given that we had just lost like Cruz, Modric was now like Modric is obviously like 40 years old and everything, so like he was not getting that game time. Midfield was not like solid. Like as much as we have good midfielders and all that, like it wasn't like solid. Our defense was not solid. There was no part of our game this season that was solid enough to actually like bank on that individual brilliance and all that. And then we always got caught out by Barcelona. We got caught out by Arsenal in the 2 legs. We got knocked out of Champions League quarterfinals and all of that. So yeah, we went trophyless at the end of the day. Went trophyless. So yeah, and I think that Carlo, if you had given him more time, more signings and all of that, like I think look at the way we're giving energy into the transfer window this season. I think if you had given Carlo that this season, like this summer, I think that by next summer, would have fixed a lot of our problems and all of that. But like I said, like if there was a very time for him to leave, is now, and now he's gone. So yeah, I do think that Xabi Alonso will bring structure. And what I mean by that is Xabi Alonso is someone that like he has a style, like he has like every single person in his system, every single person in his team has a specific role and all that. So I'm not going to pretend like I watched Bayer Leverkusen games like week in week out and everything. I watched like a few of their games, maybe in the Champions League, 1 or 2 Bundesliga games here and there. I've watched them a few times. I'm not going to pretend like I watch them week in week out, but I have seen analysis of everything. I have seen like some highlights, and I like I do kind of like know what they do, but like I can't like give you the whole breakdown of that, because like I don't watch them week in week out. But I do know that he has a structure. I do know that like every single player in his team has like a specific role. I do know that like he has multiple formations in mind. I know he does the two at the back thing, but I think he does have multiple formations in mind. And yeah, honestly, we need that right now. Like we just need like that proper structure. Like we just need like someone to actually come in and just give us like a plan. Like we can't. I don't think right now we can bank on individual brilliance as much. Like obviously, like we still want to see our best players play. We still want to see Vinny do his thing. We still want to see Mbappe do his thing. I think and this isn't just limited to Real Madrid. I think every single team, at the end of the day, it comes down to individual brilliance as much as like everybody has their own thing and all of that. It does come down to individual brilliance. I do think that Real Madrid did it a lot more. I think Real Madrid were playing like that traditional type of football, which has helped us in the past, like I said. But like I think that right now, especially like given how Barcelona is playing right now, given even Atletico were looking good at some point. They fell off at some point, but like were looking good. They were looking like they could win the league and all of that. And other teams, see Arsenal, see all these teams, like they're just gaining something that is kind of helping them to like stop all these teams that like bank on individual brilliance and all of that. I do think that this is how this team got the better of us this season. But if you actually go into these games with like a proper plan, like we just like build like we have like a particular playing style this season that like we build on and all of that. I do think that like we'll end up like being able to beat your Barcelona's, your whoever it is. Like at the end of the day, will be Real Madrid. That's something that will always get to carry. I know people hate hearing that, but at the end of the day, like It's that mentality that helps us win. The reason why we have all these Champions League titles, the reason why we are so successful, the reason why the biggest club in the world, most successful club in the world, is because of that mentality. That, oh, we have Real Madrid mentality. You might hate to hear it, but you only hate us because you ain't us, kind of thing. So yeah, um, I do think that Xabi Alonso has what it takes right now. I do think that he's going to bring a lot of improvements. I do think that you're going to see a lot of improvements in our style of play. You're going to see a lot of improvements, especially in some players. I think there's some players in particular as well that I think he's going to improve on. I think the first player that comes to my head immediately is Camavinga. I think Camavinga is somebody who hasn't come as far along as we thought he would have. He is obviously like he's still a very good player. Like every time Camavinga plays, I love watching him play. And I was saying this, I think I said this on my TikTok or something. Camavinga was having one of the best games I've ever seen him have in a Real Madrid shirt against Arsenal. I don't know, I can't remember if it was the first leg or the second leg, but whatever leg it was that he got the red card, he was having one of the best games I'd ever seen him have in a Real Madrid shirt. But obviously, he got the red card in that game at the end, obviously out of frustration and all of that. And I do think that that kind of like is going to remove that performance from everybody's head. So to be deemed as like a terrible performance because obviously if you get a red card, then that's a terrible performance. But I do think that before that he was having one of his best games in Real Madrid shirt. But yeah, Kamavinga is someone that hasn't come out as far along as like we thought he would have right now. Obviously, he's still very young. He still has a lot of time. There's a lot of time. He has like 10+ years and everything. So he's someone that would improve a lot under Xabi Alonso. I think that he has plans for him. He can be his next like Shaka and all of that. Like I do think that he would have plans for him. I think Kamavinga has been a bit unfortunate as well because I do think that like he's competing with like players that like have to start. I know obviously he can like kind of like assert himself more and make himself one of those players that just has to be in the team. But I do think that he's in the midst of so many star players. They made themselves stars. Some of these players made themselves stars, like Valverde, he made himself a star and everything. So but I do think that he's in the midst of some of players that like they just have to start no matter what. That's why you see him playing left back when he's playing. Like you just see him trying to fill in any position that they give it to him because at the end of the day, like you have all these players that just have to start over him. Like you're not benching Bellingham, you're not benching Valverde. Xabi Alonso is going to have a plan for all these players and all of that. But I do think that like he has been a bit unfortunate. Also injuries. I think he has had a few injuries here and there, so he has been a bit unfortunate. But I do think that like he's going to improve a lot under Xabi Alonso. I think that whatever formation that Xabi Alonso brings, I don't know. I think there's obviously multiple formations that Xabi Alonso can use. He has the 4-2-3-1. I think I've seen him use that a few times. Obviously, his most dominant formation, or like the formation that we associate him with, is the three at the back formation as well. I think that Kamavinga can have a role there. Maybe not as a starter, but as like a super sub or something like that, or like just like a rotational player in general. But I do think that like Kamavinga can be one of our most good players. I'm banking on him to actually be the most improved player in this system. Like when Xabi Alonso comes, I'm actually banking on Kamavinga to be the most improved player in Madrid to kind of like profit the most from this system change, from this new manager and all of that. I'm hoping as well because Kamavinga is like a player I love. I think he has a lot of attributes that like that just make up like a good midfielder, a good player in general. I think he has the mentality for it, and I do think that he's ready. He's ready for it. So yeah, Kamavinga is a player I'm very excited for. But yeah, I'm excited about Xabi Alonso joining. I wasn't as excited at first, but I've changed my mind. I think I'll kind of like let go of like the whole idea that without Carlo, we're not going to win anything. Like I've let go of that idea. I have to let go of my my personal biases and all of that, and I have to just accept change when it comes. And Xabi Alonso is going to be a big change, but like I said, I can't get too much of it because like I don't know what formation he's going to use in particular because as much as like the three at the back was like the formation that goes in a Bayer Leverkusen, that was like his dominant formation and Bayer Leverkusen, he can come in and just decide to change it up, like like given that the players that we have and everything, he can come and change it up. I do think that it's still a formation that he can use, and if he does use that formation, we have the players for it. Like I think maybe CBs we need more reinforcements. I think obviously we've signed in Hoysen and all of that. We signed Alexander Arnold. It looks like we could sign Alvaro from Benfica. So yeah, we're still building our defense, but like we're going to need more. We need more reinforcements. Like that's not enough. So there's the 4-2-3-1. There's the three at the back. I think the three at the back can work really well. Adagula is another player I forgot to mention. Adagula is another player who I think can improve a lot under Xabi Alonso. I actually think that like him and Camavinga are going to be like Justin for that spot of like most improved player under Xabi Alonso. And these are two players that like I love. Like these are two players I think that have the ability to become proper players under this system and proper players like in general. I think that they have the ability, the players that like they're just really good players and they haven't gotten the opportunity as much as the other players. Like I said, for Camavinga, they're a bit unlucky because there are just so many stars that they kind of have to start. Like Adagula cannot start over like Thing, and he can't start over Bellingham and all of that. So I do think that a bit unlucky. By the end of the day, these guys kind of like made themselves stars. So you can also make yourself a star. You can make yourself maybe not a player that has to start, but a player that is always in the head of the manager that you need to get some game time. Like you can't just leave you on the bench all season kind of thing. And they're worth more than that. So I do think that Kamavinga and Adagula would be kind of like the most improved players in this system. And yeah, I'm really excited for what he has to bring. Obviously, the board is backing him a lot right now, so the board obviously believes in whatever he's selling, and they're backing him a lot, they're giving him selling that he wants. Like I said, we signed Hoyson, we signed Trent, we're about to sign Alvaro. We're looking at midfielders, potentially looking at maybe one or two. Like we're just looking at multiple signings. Like Real Madrid is never a team that wants to go trophyless. I made another episode talking about how that was like a wake up call for us, and we don't want to go trophyless again. We don't want to go trophyless next season. We want to fully back anything that our manager needs right now. We want to back him. I do think that there's some reinforcements that still needed, like I said, in centre back, in midfield as well. Maybe an extra attacker if Rodrigo leaves. I don't know what the situation is going to be with that and all of that. But yeah, I do think that we need multiple reinforcements in the squad. And I think that Real Madrid right now is going to give Xabi Alonso anything that he wants because we're not going to trophyless next season. We cannot go trophyless next season. Real Madrid is not going to trophyless 2 years in a row. We want to knock Barcelona off and want to win the La Liga title, want to win the Champions League, and potentially even want to win a treble. And we can't win a treble. Like I've never won a treble, but we can't win a treble. But we'll start wherever we need to start. We'll start by winning whatever we need to win. And yeah, I do back Xabi Alonso. I do think that he has what it takes to actually be a proper Real Madrid manager, and I am excited for what he has to bring. I want to see the kind of changes that he makes. I think the most exciting thing I want to see is the formation that he decides to use and whatever tactics he decides to use. I don't want to start giving you guys information analysis or anything when I don't even know what formation he has that he's going to use when it comes to Real Madrid. I do think like I said, the 3 at the back is his best formation. It's formation that we associate him with, but he might just change it up based on the players that we have, or he might just have new ideas that he wants to use at Real Madrid and all of that. So I'm not going to give you all the analysis, but yeah, like I said, I'm excited, and good things come in the future. But yeah, that's good to be the end of this episode. Thank you guys again for tuning in. I really appreciate it. I'm gonna try and stay consistent, continue pushing out episodes, and I got to see you guys every week. I just hope to see you guys again, and yeah, safe.